Okay, I know it's been a long time since I'm filmed, but I really need to do a declutter, so I just wanted to hop back in and say hi. I had a wedding not too long ago, and I might use that as an excuse to buy a lot of makeup to figure out what I wanted. Why is there now a really loud plane passing by as soon as I start? But this is my current makeup setup. It's just on my dresser right here in this corner. I use this jewelry box I found in an estate sale. I have some palettes kind of in random places around here. Just an old candle cup holds my brushes. Has some things sticking out, but right now it is completely disorganized, just overflowing. There's just way too much stuff in here. This is my everyday drawer of things that I use most frequently, but down here it's gotten a bit out of hand. I try to fit all my lip stuff in here, and then there's this whole extra drawer that's just total chaos. So I would like to make it where it's actually easy to organize, and I just don't need half of the stuff here. So let's just get started. Okay, excuse the weird setup if you see anything weird in the crop or the lighting. I had to make a very precarious, bizarre setup to make this work. So, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. So these are all my base products. Now, majority of the stuff is stuff I use most frequently, so it's not going to be the ones I am most likely to declutter, but I'll go through all of them. So these first two are things I bought specifically for the wedding, just for longevity purposes, but I normally don't use setting spray or primer. This is the Milani Make It Last. It seems to be fine. Honestly, I just don't really see a difference, but it's hard to tell in my opinion. But I'm gonna use it up. I'm gonna keep it because it's easy to use up and it doesn't make anything worse, so I might as well keep it. Same with this Power Grip Primer. I don't find it as easy to just like add to my routine as this one, because I have to make sure it's like dried down and tacky before I put anything on, and I always forget, versus this one is easy to do after the fact. But I still think I can use it up next year, and it's fine. I don't feel the need to get rid of it. These two concealers are my base products. I got the NYX Bear With Me concealer as a bit of a lighter, dewier, thinner formula, and then I have this Bye Bye Under Eye that I use more as a color corrector for both my under eyes and for any acne spots, any kind of dark spots. It's a little bit darker and peachier than my skin tone, and then this one's closer to my skin tone, maybe just a hair lighter. So I find that these work well together. It makes sense to have both to balance things out. And the formulations work well on my skin. They don't look too heavy or too cakey or anything like that. Now, I don't really use powder that often, so it's kind of weird I have two. I bought this one for the wedding just for longevity purposes because it's a bit more mattifying. But I already did have this one, but I never use it, and I tried to pan it. I think you can kind of see, it's under halfway through, but I just don't use powder on a daily basis for makeup, and if I do, I've been gravitating towards this one, and I haven't really wanted to use this one. I just don't think it looks quite as good on my skin as this one does, so I'm just gonna let this go. I'm gonna stop trying to force it, just let it be. And I'll just keep these 5 as my base products and try to use these 2 up, and then I'll just be down to the essentials. Moving on to cheek products, I have blushes, highlighters, and bronzers all together. But this is something that I have become really picky with. So I find myself gravitating more towards almost using lipsticks as blushes a lot of the time. So I don't use my powder ones that often, but I'll just start with, I guess the only highlighter in here is this Wet n Wild Mega Glow. I just don't use highlighter anymore. I find that if I have kind of a glowy blush or just a glowy base, I don't need something particularly sparkly and shiny. And this one, I feel like anything this shiny will just emphasize skin texture and look a little much, and it's just not something that I'm looking for anymore. And the only thing that I really use to add glow to my cheeks is this Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. What shade is it? Shimmery Rose. This is really naturally shimmery. It's not something super intense, just a little subtle glow, and it's really pretty, just a nice hint of pink. It used to be domed. As you can see, I've used it a lot. I would say this is my most used thing in this entire category overall. Even though it is broken, I will use it until it's completely empty because I just really like it and I feel like it's foolproof and it looks great. Another glowy blush is this e.l.f. Luminous Putty Blush. I actually bought this year. The shade of this is Maui. It's a really pretty peachy glowy shade. In my opinion, when I put this on though, the actual base pigment doesn't last as long as just the shimmer, and the shimmer kind of comes across as a little more like sparkle or glitter. So I just don't like the formula of it that much, even if I liked the color and the concept of it. So I shouldn't have bought this, but a lot of people say good things about this, but I think they mean the matte ones. I just couldn't find a color in the matte ones that I would actually wear. This CoverGirl blush is another shimmery kind of peachy pink blush. It's a classic color blush in the shade Soft Mink. It's a really like old style blush. It's been around forever. I just never found myself wearing this, and when I did wear it, it just looked a little off on me. I don't know if it was the color or the slight hint of shine, but it just didn't look quite right on my complexion, and so I never really wanted to wear it. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. This Flower Beauty blush, I think it's their Flower Pot in the shade Sweet Pea. This is a really nice, just matte, cool toned pink blush. I use it a lot for that kind of cold pink touch to the cheeks, and I think it looks really nice, and it actually pairs pretty well with this. I usually use one or the other though if I'm going for pink, otherwise it feels too much, but if I want a really pink look, I can just kind of dust this on top, and it's nice. I like it. So I'd like to get some more use out of this, so I'm going to keep it. Now we're down to all the bronzers and contours, and this was something that my friend decluttered to me. I thought I'd try it out. Unfortunately, it's just way too orange on me. It just is not the right undertone at all, so I can't keep this. It just doesn't look any good. These other two, I think I bought this one last year. This one I bought this year. This one I really liked at first, but the more I used it, the more I realized it just was a little bit too warm. And I don't know, the overly bronze look I just don't think looks good on my complexion. And I realized it's better if I go for something much cooler in tone, more as a contour. If I want to add a little definition and color to my cheeks, I just found that this one just wasn't quite right in undertone. But I think it is a good option for people who want a bronzer that's not super orange. It's just not the right one for me. Also, excuse the state of it, my dog chewed it up at some point, so that's why it looks like this. But I'm gonna keep this Halo Glow Beauty Wand by e.l.f. and get rid of the Camo Liquid. Next up is lip products. So these are all the like lipstick adjacent type products I have. A good amount of these I did buy this year, again, to figure out what I wanted for my wedding. This one wasn't for the wedding. I just bought it because everyone raves about this kind of black honey dupe color. I might have been partially influenced by the fact that Arwen in Lord of the Rings wore black honey. But this is a really pretty color. It's just a nice, gentle, tinted lip balm formula. It's not crazy shiny, but I do really like the color of it, so I'm going to keep this one. I forgot to mention this is in the shade Black Cherry. This is an e.l.f. lip tint in the shade Power Mauve. I wouldn't really call it a mauve, to be honest. It's a pretty bright, warm pinky shade, but it is pretty. I do kind of like it. I've been trying to use it on my cheeks as well as a blush. I've been enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep it. This e.l.f. lipstick I got in a free gift with purchase bundle. I've not used it at all because in the shade Drive, I can just tell by looking at it, it is way too warm and brown. It's gonna look horrible on my complexion, so I'm gonna go see if any of my friends or family members would want to use it because I've never used it, and I just know it's not the right one for me. So, though I do love the packaging, really nice. This Milani lip tint is a lot more intense than the e.l.f. one, much more tinting. It is a darker color, but this one's really nice. I don't use it often just because it's a pretty intense color, but I would like to keep it to have it as an option to have a tint, something darker, something more dramatic. It is really pretty. This Milani lipstick I bought for my wedding, and I did wear it. I wore it mixed with this color right here, but it's just a really pretty warm pinky nude. I think it's a little bit too warm on me, but if I layer it on top of a cooler toned lip liner, it works really well. It's just a nice, normal matte lip formula. This one, even though I wore it at my wedding, I'm not keeping, unfortunately. I wanted to, but every time I open it, it is a high-risk situation because this thing is not stable. Sometimes I open it and it just like flings out, and I just know it's a matter of time until it flings out and falls on the floor or something gross, and I just don't want to play that game, so I'm just gonna let this go. It is a little bit too cool and purple tone for me, so I kind of had to mix it with the other one to make it work. So it's not like something that was perfect on its own, so it's easier to let go because of that. Now for lip gloss adjacent things. I have a few. There is one of these missing. It's like a very pale pink color, but it's such a sheer color. It's almost debatable whether or not it's a tinted lip balm, but I have it in my work apron. It is very close to being done, so I don't really consider it a part of my collection. I just kind of use it as a regular lip balm, but yeah. Full disclosure, there is another one out there, but I'm trying to use it up by the end of the month. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but yeah. This first lip oil is from e.l.f. This is in the shade Jam Session. I really like this color. It's kind of like a black honey color, a very nice neutral where it's not super cool, not super warm, just a perfect kind of berry tone for everyone, I'd imagine. It's also pretty sheer, and the formula is nice. It's very comfortable. This e.l.f. lip gloss, I don't wear that often. I thought the shade wasn't going to be quite as warm. This one's called Pink Me Girl. It's a little bit of a warm pale pink, but if I layer it on top of a really cool toned, darker kind of pink lip liner, or just anything cooler toned and darker as a lip liner or lipstick underneath, I can make it work and it looks nice. And I kind of like the ability to have a light pink gloss to layer on top of things to add dimension. So I'm going to keep it just for now. I don't think I'll ever try to use it up, but you know, I'll keep it until it expires. Just have fun with it. These two Nature Well glosses I got from work at some, it was like a lip gloss holiday pack thing, and I probably shouldn't have bought it because these things are so massive. Like I said, I'm using one up and it's been almost an entire year and it's still not done. These things are huge. They have 15 grams of product or 0.53 ounces. It is a serious lip balm tube. This one is a really lightly tinted, just like kind of a brownie tone. I mostly just use this sometimes before I go to bed or before I put on makeup, just basically as a clear lip balm because it doesn't really add that much color. This one's really pretty. It's just a hint of kind of a pinky berry tone. It's not as dark. You can kind of see it's coming out lighter and brighter than the actual tube, but it's just, once you put it on, it's just like a sheer bright pink kind of color. But I'm going to keep both of these just because I like the formula and they're easy to use. This one, however, I am not keeping because I bought it in a pack. Two of them are clear, and I thought this wouldn't be quite so orange, but I only tried it once, so I'm going to see if anyone wants it because it's a squeeze tube. But it just looks so orange on me. So it's just not the right color, so I'm not going to keep this. Lastly, I have lip liners, and I have used up all the lip liners that I don't care about too much. So now I'm just down to these four. I bought all these four, again, for my wedding in the search for the perfect one. I found one that's actually a really nice My Lips But Better shade. It's a little bit more muted and warm, but it is nice to have that. That's the shade Mauve. Whipped Caviar is a really nice brighter pink, like My Lips, but a little bit brighter and pinker. Moonwalk is if I want to do something dramatic with kind of a brown lip liner for more contrast. I don't use it a ton, but it is fun to play with. This one is like the perfect undertone of my lips. It's not too warm, not too cool, a little bit brighter. It's called Over the Top by Milani. I think it's a new color. My only gripe is every time I wear it, it makes my lips burn a little, so I might be slightly allergic to it. I'm still keeping it though, because I'm just kind of stupid. But it's the perfect color, so I'm going to keep it for now. If it ever gets so bad, I'll probably get rid of it, but I just won't wear it a ton. But it feels a little bit like a burning sensation every time I use that. Which is unfortunate because the color is really perfect. Now we have eyeliners and pencil sharpeners. The only reason I'm including this is because this one was the Ulta pencil sharpener, but there was like a piece inside that bent in, and then every time I sharpened something, it like blocked the pencil from actually sharpening and broke it. So I'm getting rid of this. I got one by NYX. It seems to be working well so far, so happy about that, because this one wasted a whole lot of pencils, which was really annoying. Now for eyeliners, I have this LA Girl Ultimate Eye matte brown kind of shade. This is really nice. I do wish it just doesn't have as much product as a pencil, but it is really nice, and I kind of like that I don't have to sharpen it because you never get wood in your eye. It's a very good, long-lasting matte formula. Really easy to work with. Definitely got to keep it because the color is a perfect kind of cool tone brown. This brown, however, is just not quite right for me. This is the Essence Kajal pencil. I don't mind the color. It's a bit of a warmer, shimmery brown, but it's just much more of a smeary formula. It just doesn't last that well. It kind of becomes hard to manage and smears around, so I've used a good amount of it, but I just realized I would much rather prefer to use the other brown one and not this one. Same story for this e.l.f. satin eyeliner pencil. I like that it has its own sharpener. That is really nice, especially when my other one broke. This was the one I had to resort to. That's why there's lip liner in it. But it's just too smeary, does not stay put. I just look like a raccoon every time I use it, so I can't use it. This one by Ulta Beauty is in the shade Wind Down. There was a certain Urban Decay eyeliner that I swatched it next to that it was near identical to, but it's half the price. And it is much more long-lasting than the other formulas I was complaining about. And the color really brings out the green in my eyes, so I'm definitely going to keep this. As for eyeshadow primer and mascara, I only have one of each, so I'm just going to keep one of each. This one's almost empty, this Urban Decay mini primer potion for like anti-aging sensitive skin. I just don't wear eyeshadow that much, so that's why I haven't used it up, but I definitely should just try to pan it just to use it up because it's so close and I don't want it to go bad. But it works well. It does its job and it doesn't irritate my eyes, which apparently is hard to do. This Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara I only bought because a friend recommended it and I was really worried about mascara not lasting the night for my wedding, so I bought this just because I wanted something that I knew would work. It does work pretty well. Honestly though, it does kind of smudge, at least on me. I think I'll go back to my e.l.f. The one with like the teal cap, the tubing one. I think I'll go back to that after this, just because it's much less messy and easier to apply. And this one I always kind of make a mess with, so I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because it's new and it's really wet, but I just prefer the lasting power and the wand and the formula of that e.l.f. one. But I'll just keep these and use them up. Sorry, that's not true. I forgot about this mascara. This was accidentally sent to me. I ordered something from Ulta, and instead of sending me a hair oil, I got this, which was a Random Tarte Manator Brown Mini Mascara. And so I tried it. I was like, hey, you know, they sent it to me, might as well try it. But it smudges like that's its job. Really, really bad look. It was a mess, so I'm not keeping this. This next category is actually really embarrassing for me. I kind of went on a crazy spree trying to find the perfect brow product for my wedding. And as you can see, I went too far. As someone who's trying to be minimalistic and not over-consuming and thoughtful about purchases, this has gone way out of hand. I never thought I would. It's bad. To be fair, I didn't buy this one. This one was decluttered to me, so I tried it. But the color was just too dark and way too warm and like bright in pigmentation. So I'm not keeping this one. The sad part is basically all of these, my issue is just the color wasn't right. It was always just the color was wrong. This one, what is this? The Lawless, I think I got this at like TJ Maxx or something. Anyways, light to medium, way too light. Like it looks like blonde on my eyebrows. So that didn't work. This Flower Beauty one in the shade Light Brown is just too light and a little bit too red. I think it'd be great if you were a ginger, actually. and you didn't have really, really intense red brows, but something that's like kind of auburn in color. This ColourPop one in the shade light brown. Too light, but then too cool, so then it looked ashy on me. I found that things were either really red or really gray. Apparently really hard to find something in between. So yeah, this one didn't work. This one I thought for sure would work because it's supposed to be clear, like a clear laminating brow product. I thought, what could go wrong? It's clear, it has to work. This looked straight up white. It left white in my eyebrows. It didn't dry fully clear. There was little white specks. It pissed me off. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you just made my eyebrows white. How dare you? You were supposed to work. So yeah, this one's also a no. Okay, the only one I'm keeping of the brow gels is this NYX, the brow glue in the shade medium brown. This one is a little bit more of like a clear gel with a brown tint to it, so it's a lot easier to match because it's not pigment first, it's like gel first with the pigment that doesn't clash, basically. This really keeps my brows in place, and you just can't put too much on or else it'll look crazy and it'll like turn really dark and look wet and thick. So just use a light hand and this will work really well. So this is the one I'm gonna keep. Oh my god, yeah, that was ridiculous. And I do have two brow pens. This one almost made me give up on brow pens altogether, but to be fair, I got neutral brown. I guess I should have gone a darker color because this deadass does nothing. What is that? First off, neutral brown? This is for like the lightest of lightest blonde person brows or something. This actually did nothing. If you've seen my brows, you know I need something darker. Usually neutral brown is pretty accurate for what I need, but this one was a complete joke. It's $2, a complete waste of money. Yeah, I don't know what happened to this. e.l.f. totally just, I don't know if it's because of the color, but this should not be basically translucent blonde if it says medium brown or neutral brown or whatever. Yeah, this one's going. This one I would have kept if my dog didn't chew it up and make it completely unusable, but this is the NYX Micro Brow. Let's see. Shade Ash Brown was actually a really good color for me, but yeah, well, I couldn't exactly use it in this state, could I? Thank you, Levi. This e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Cool Brown was just way too dark and cool. Way too dark and cool. It just made my eyebrows look really, really like Disney villain intense compared to what they should have been color-wise. So yeah, I'm not gonna use this one. This one, however, in the shade, what's it called? I don't know. This one, for some reason, doesn't say the shade on it, but it's like, I think one shade lighter. It's a little bit warmer than my eyebrows, but since my hair is warmer, it kind of works. There's not a ton left. I can make it work, so I'm just going to use this up. It's not bad. This one, however, is the one that I will be purchasing from now on. It is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen. I only bought this because I could try in store to see color-wise and also to make sure it actually worked, unlike that e.l.f. one I bought from online. Because it actually, you can see it. Oh my god, it actually makes a stroke. And it's so hair-like. It's so easy to manipulate and like wipe away. But then once it dries down, it stays put. And yeah, it looks like hair strokes. I just find it's the easy thing to work with, and it actually works really well, helps me shape my brows, and the color is sheer enough where it can work with multiple different undertones, but it's not so sheer that it doesn't show up like the other one. It's just the perfect balance to make it easy to work with, but not completely useless. So the only brow products I'm keeping is this one just to use up because it works well enough, and I'm trying not to waste all of the ones I bought. And then from then on, I'll just be using these two. This is a great combo for me. Okay, I don't know how this is gonna all fit on the screen, but last but not least is Eyeshadows, and this one is gonna be brutal because I rarely wear eyeshadows. The only reason I bought any this year was because I needed something that I knew would look good on my wedding day, so I bought a few items to see what would work. I'm just gonna start with these. These are getting really old and I never use these. I know I finally condensed like all my singles into what I wanted, but my preferences have changed. These have gotten old. I think these are all from like 2020. That's now almost 6 years old. That's crazy. So I'm gonna let this go. I'll keep this and try to use it somehow. Not with eyeshadow, but this container is so pretty. I'm gonna keep it because why wouldn't I? But I'm not gonna keep these eyeshadows. I just don't wear eyeshadow that often, so it doesn't make sense to. This one I recently bought for my wedding, and I used like these 3 shades as neutrals for my wedding. But I really like these kind of matte tones on the bottom, and then there's a few other shimmers I like. There's a few colors I don't think I'll be using too much, but it's a nice neutral palette that I think I'll get some use out of it. Same could be said with this Wet n Wild, though I'm a little iffy on it. I only kept it really because I needed to mix this brown with that mauve to make it more neutral, and this is a good base shade to use in everything. The shimmers in this palette I don't really like, to be honest, but these dark mattes are definitely things that I can use. They're staples, and the light mattes. Yeah, the shimmers are just kind of okay, but they're good neutrals to have, so I will keep this. And I'm also keeping this other Wet n Wild Petalette shade. If you have been with me forever, then you know I used to have this in the old packaging with like the 4 colors. Let's see, which one did they add? They added this shade. Honestly, I could take or leave this shade, but I really missed this in particular, this light lilac shimmer, and this matte is also really pretty. So I bought this mostly because I missed this guy right here. But I will keep these 3 and the rest are gonna go. It's true. This one I got decluttered to me, but I just would rather use the purples in the other palettes I have than these, so I don't need this one. This guy is just old, and if I need something like this, I have the one in that Wet n Wild palette, but I also just have, you know, like face powder I could use. It's just falling apart. It's pretty old, and I don't use it enough for me to want to try to use it up. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to this one. And then this guy, I am gonna say goodbye to, but I'm gonna keep it in a, what's it called, like a memory box, because my husband did buy this for me as a memory for like our first big trip together. We went to Whistler. We've been to Whistler twice, actually. So Whistler's really special to us, but I don't need these colors particularly, and, you know, the shades are getting pretty old, so I can say goodbye to this, and this packaging I'll say goodbye to because I won't have any singles anymore. I'll be getting rid of 2 palettes and essentially 2 singles, and then keeping these 3 palettes and calling it good, because honestly this is more than enough eyeshadow for me considering how often I wear it. This is everything at the end. Ignore my brushes, but this is everything I'm keeping, and this is everything I'm decluttering. I would say that's pretty brutal. Not quite 50%, but at least 30% decluttered, I'd say, even though most of that was probably brow products, and that was kind of embarrassing for me, but I'm really happy with what's left. There's only a few things in here that I don't really need, like these 2 base products I'll probably just use up, get rid of. Same with that 1 brow product I'll just use up. Probably this eyeshadow primer too, just use up, and then use the cream base in here if I ever feel the need to use eyeshadow primer again. But the rest of these, like these lip products, I probably don't want to buy anymore, but maybe just use up a few, keep it streamlined. I'm just trying not to go crazy, you know, just try to be realistic about this stuff and wear what I can actually use up and keep what I can use up instead of buying outside of my means. Yeah, I definitely don't want to do another giant declutter like this ever again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye!